as you know, the ICT sector is an absolute pivotal sector for the Irish economy. In the last 2 years, we've added 11,000 jobs in this sector. And it's very important that we facilitate the growth of this sector. Not only is it, if you like, providing great skills within what's technically known as the ICT sector, but increasingly ICT skills are transforming all of our sectors, and they are creating the opportunity to grow businesses right throughout the economy. So it's very important that we prepare ourselves from an education perspective to develop the skills necessary, and Rory will deal with that, but also we have to be open to ensuring that internationally mobile talents, which is needed in Ireland to allow growth, is located and can be accessed here. I think version 1 is a wonderful example of the way that balance has been achieved. We just met Paul Skelton there, a New Zealander who's come with really skilled domain experience. His skill has been allowed version 1 build new markets that wouldn't otherwise have been possible and take on additional people. That's the pivotal role of many of these really creative, talented people. Internationally, we reckon it's about 5 to 1 for these creative people, 5 jobs in the wider economy for one of these creative people. So what we are announcing today is the reform of our work permit system. And I'd like to recognise people who have, I suppose, spurred us along the way, like Sean Sullivan, who has been very keen to see reform in this area, but also our own people, John Newham in particular here within the department who's responsible for that division. They have come up with a package of reforms that we believe will increase by 50% the number of ICT skills from international backgrounds that we'll be able to bring in. It also has streamlined the whole process, so it'll be 33% lower, quicker, less compliance costs, less documentation, and in time we plan to move to a situation where the industrial development authorities have links with companies that are growing ambitiously, that they will be trusted partners, that we will know that their needs we can facilitate. So this is, I think, an important element of continuing the growth of this really important sector for our economy, and we're absolutely pledged to do that. I think what's really exciting, just to conclude, is the partnership we've been able to forge between education, between our own department and our agencies, and with industry, being able to shape the types of programs. And you see version 1 is a company who's availed of Springboard, availed of JobsBridge, availed of shaping the sort of curricula that should be used for these talent. I think that forging of a partnership is so important to our long-term development as an economy.
Thank you, Richard. I want to endorse everything that Richard has said. What education is trying to do through the last 3 programs that we've talked about is to approach those people who have skills, who have qualifications and who work experience, but they just find that there isn't work in the sector where they previously were. I've just been speaking to 3 engineers who've done the transition course, have transferred and are now working here. And in fact were offered halfway through their work experience here, as part of the course, were offered a full-time job. There's 90,000 vacancies worldwide in the IT sector, and there's enormous competition, and that's going to grow. And in the financial services sector, for example, where I was at a function yesterday evening down in the New Marker Hotel in Sir John Rogerson's Quay, in the financial sector, they were saying that they can't, in fact, in some cases, expand their business because they cannot get the people to expand it. In some cases, they have to confront the reality that they're either going to stand still, which means they don't grow, or in some cases actually shrink. So up front, there are plenty of skilled people, sadly, now out of work, and we're trying to focus on them to actually say, look, there is a way in which you can redeploy in a profitable and worthwhile way your skills. In fact, I was talking to the 3 guys inside, 3 engineers, who have friends in Australia, and we were just talking informally about if we can link through whatever medium is appropriate and say, come back to Ireland, do the conversion course. We look at getting waivers in terms of social welfare requirements and residency requirements so they can get into the system fairly quickly. But that's at the end of the chain. At the start of the educational chain, we're also looking to the future. One of the key things that was said in the IFC last night was the ability of Irish firms to attract business was the ability of Irish personnel to be problem solvers. In this instance, in the financial sector, but across the spectrum, the same would apply. We've got to actually embed that in our education system, which is why the reform of the junior cycle is so important, why the transition from leaving cert across into 3rd level is critical, why the reconfiguration of the point system and the plethora of courses that are out there for young people entering into the university sector or the IoT sector, that bridge has to be simplified so that people don't make a premature course selection that turns out not to be what they want. And I'm delighted to say that the third level sector are responding to our requests so that we don't lose people along the way. People who've travelled the journey through primary and secondary and then find that because they made a decision which they thought was the right one at the age of 17 turns out to be at 19 not what they wanted. So that they can move into the place of work, which is, and the world of work, which is where they want to be. But what you're looking at here really is the kind of joined up government, cooperation, rationalisation of what we're trying to do, identifying where their blocks were. I'd like to pay tribute to one of my former colleagues, Mary Coughlin, who got the request from business and from a lot of other people that honours maths, high-level maths, had to be incentivised because young people are very rational. Why would you do all the work associated with doing honours maths when you could do another subject that was far less demanding in terms of time, because at the end of the day you would get the same points? And Mary Coughlin took that message and persuaded an independent group, the CAO company, which is owned by the 7 universities, to actually award the extra 25 points. And we are now reaping the harvest of that decision that she actually got across the line, because there was a 2/3 increase last year in the number of people who did honours maths. So we're moving forward. We'd like to move an awful lot quicker, I think. But we will work together, and any problems that arise between any department of government that's getting in the way of what we're trying to do, we'll sort out.